When Reserve Bank Governor Lesetja Kganyago was asked about the financial pain that the MPC is likely to inflict on South African, he bluntly asked, does it hurt? And just to quote him verbatim, he said, does it hurt? Yes, in the short term, it would hurt, but we have to take the short-term pain in the interest of long-term gain. Can South Africans take any more pain?
I think that's a very good question. Yeah, I think South Africans are really struggling at the moment, but I think that I think it's good to understand what he's trying to achieve. So basically, the repo rate is a tool used by the Reserve Bank to manage inflation and to stabilize the economy. So normally, what happens is that higher repo rates cause a slowdown in economic activity by making borrowing more expensive. So you have to service your debt, so therefore you're going to spend less money on luxuries or unnecessary things. So what that means is less investment, less spending, less economic growth, and fewer job opportunities. But it is unfortunately how they manage inflation, or how they try to manage inflation. Because if you can slow down the spending, you slow down the need for the increased prices. So typically, or conversely, what that means is that the lower the repo rate is going to stimulate economic activity and make borrowing cheaper. Again, means that people have more money to spend on luxuries, on unnecessary items, on bigger car purchases or bigger house purchases. So I think that it's a very tough position that South Africa is in at the moment, and there aren't very many options at this point. The inflation is out of control, and the rising rand dollar exchange rates are not helping things. So what will happen is, as a result of that rand dollar, we're typically a net importer, which means that we import more than we export, which means that we are buying goods at a higher price, and then we have to pass on those prices to the consumers, which is one of the reasons why the inflation is getting worse. There are other reasons, but it is one of the reasons. So unfortunately, there's not many other ways that it can be curbed, but it is a massive challenge for where South Africa is at the moment, and for where consumers are at the moment. We need the jobs. We need, the poor are just getting poorer. So we need the jobs. So it's a very tough spot that we're currently sitting in.
Well, in as much as the Monetary Policy Committee may be subjected to vitriolic attacks for not understanding the plight of the already constrained South Africans, I suppose Lesetja Kganyago, the Reserve Bank Governor, came to their defense, saying that failure to act against inflation would be, in essence, shortchanging the poor. I suppose it was a really tough balancing act for the MPC, wasn't it?
Definitely. Like I said, I think if you look at our population, we have a substantial amount that of the population does fall into that poor category, and therefore we do need to take them into account. And if we don't, it's going to result in extreme poverty and extreme. It's just going to cause other challenges, other socioeconomic challenges that we're going to struggle to deal with even more. So it really is it's a very tough balancing act, and they have to do their best, not only in the interest of one specific consumer, but in the general interest of the economy in the whole.
Now, despite inflation being uncomfortably high, I suppose that data released this week suggests that the prices are on the decline, easing to an 11-month low. Is this enough to allay fears?
I don't think so. Unfortunately not. The rand has hit an all-time low again this week to the dollar, which is going to cause further challenges. There's so many factors playing into this at the moment that it's literally like trying to piece a 5,000 piece puzzle together. So they're playing a very fine balancing act. Yeah, I don't, to be honest with you, unless something happens to the rand dollar exchange rate as a result of um, different decisions being made. I don't see this the inflation. So it is an inflation targeting tool, but it's also there are other reasons for it, and they would definitely need to take those into account. So my gut feel is that we're going to see further hikes still in the short term.
More especially because the MPC further noted that the ongoing load shedding that we're seeing in South Africa has broader price effects, of course, on the cost of doing business and of living. And now that the MPC will again meet in July, are we likely, to get another price hike in July?
My gut feel is yes. So I think there are other factors that are going to play into it. But my guess at this point, my best guess is that we're going to still see probably at least another one or two hikes before it starts coming down. But yes, there are other factors that play into it. So it is difficult to guess or to hazard a guess at it. But yes, my gut feel is that it's still going to carry on going up a bit more.
All right, Michelle, lovely chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining us.